I began my report at a fashionable beauty salon in London's Bond Street, where I asked the manageress, Mrs. Wanacott, to show me what goes on and to explain the principles on which they work. Beauty, I was told, is more than skin deep. The first step towards it is a healthy body. To achieve this, they lay great stress on physical exercises and teach us how to hold ourselves correctly. All this is part of beauty for those who can afford the money and the time. What is called a full top-to-toe treatment costs 3.5 guineas and lasts 3.5 hours. This startling machine removes what some of us in our more honest moments call excess fat. An equally exciting way of reducing weight is a bath of hot wax. It relaxes your muscles, it soothes you by drawing impurities out of your body, and it makes you feel better than you've ever felt before. Half an hour in the wax bath plus half an hour's massage costs 2 guineas. In this salon, between 25 and 30 heroic ladies bathe in wax every week. This is another part of the top-to-toe treatment. To prevent wrinkles, a special treatment is very popular for the over 35s. In a salon of this class, you get the services of one of the leading hairstylists in Britain. Shampoo, hair set and manicure are included in the top-to-toe treatment. A full permanent wave costs between 6 and 7 guineas. I wondered who are the regular clients of such a salon as this. Mrs. Wanacott said they fell into 2 main groups: those who are approaching middle age and wanted treatment for the blemishes and defects that had begun to worry them, and younger women who came to learn about good grooming. Then I asked her to say something about the principles behind their work.
Well, if you look well, you feel well. And that's why it's very important to learn exactly how to use the preparations correctly so that you get the very best results.
And you teach people that sort of thing here as well as everything else?
Yes, we teach them grooming and how to use the correct preparations and also how to use makeup.
These preparations, Mrs. Wanacott, how much would that be, for instance?
That is 35 shillings.
That's an awful lot of money, isn't it?
Well, once you've learned how to use them correctly, you get the very best results. And you know that to buy a larger size is an economy. And if you use them correctly, you will get results.
How long would something like that, or powder, anything, how long would that last?
Well, a box of powder would last you 6 months, which is approximately a penny a day.
Well, put that way, it doesn't sound so bad. From the West End to the East End, from the salon to the factory. How do they make the products on which we women so happily spend so much money every year? The most expensive ingredients are the perfumes. Usually they're extracted from flowers. Sometimes 50 different perfumes are blended into one small bottle of scent. This can full of otto of roses contains the essence of literally millions of petals and costs the factory £3,000. These containers are full of perfume. I was told that women spend very little on perfume. Most of it is bought for us by men. Face creams, something we do by ourselves. 2 things impressed me in this part of the factory: the apparent simplicity in manufacture and cleanliness, as clean and white and shining as a dairy. And cleanliness and hygiene are qualities that I very much wanted to see. This factory, by the way, makes products for what the industry calls the medium price range. The most widely used of all cosmetics is lipstick. Its basic ingredients are beeswax, castor oil, and colouring matter. It looks so simple. I felt I could surely make a lipstick myself. As I watched this, I'm afraid I began to wonder why such a simple thing is sold at such a high price. But in every part of the factory, I noticed that great attention was paid to appearance and finish. Face powder. 4 giant juddering machines shake the powder through an extremely fine sieve. Whatever the cosmetic, for its final packing, machinery gives way to the individual human touch. Perhaps because we women are often bewitched by a pretty package. How far are we women the willing victims of advertising? The answer comes from a leading London agency.
Well, the advertising of cosmetics is a different thing from advertising household products to women. You see, women, when they buy household products, will experiment a little bit until they find one that seems to do the job they want, and they stick to it. But with cosmetics, which are very closely allied to the fashion business, they are always open to change. People's taste changes. They feel they want to give themselves some new kind of lift. And so the whole problem is quite different. Suppose we take the example of a lipstick. Well, we know from experience, because we've made tests, that when people are choosing a new lipstick, they look for color before anything else. Texture and staying on, well, they are important, but not nearly so important as color.
Yes, that's interesting, because I always look for colour first of all.
So this chart shows that we must have a group of colors to choose from. We must have clear reds, pinks, blue reds, orange reds. The manufacturer makes up various shades within each group. These are taken out and tested for preference amongst the groups of girls wherever you can find them, in factories, offices, wherever you can get a large group together. And with the added advice of the beauty experts on magazines, the final most popular shades in each color group are chosen. The manufacturer goes ahead and he makes them up, and then our attention is turned to the containers.
A designer makes a number of drawings, and the best of them are made into dummies. The manufacturer makes samples of some of the likely cases. The cases are tested in the same way as the lipstick itself to find out the most popular design. The cardboard container is another selling factor. Great care goes into finding a design and a choice of colours that will appeal to the public. And now the real business of advertising begins. It's the job of the copywriter to work out the best way of telling the public about this new range of lipsticks. She takes the advice of an expert on what papers and magazines women are reading, or whether, at the present time, it might be better to use posters for the advertising campaign. It's up to the copywriter to find the little bit of magic that will make women want to go into a shop and buy the new lipsticks in preference to all others. As soon as a name has been found, incidentally one of the hardest jobs in advertising, the artist goes ahead roughing out sketches, posters and slogans. No matter what final form the advertising takes, it will be based on the idea which the artist and copywriter have dreamed up together. Many more discussions will take place between them to decide on the best way to launch the campaign, in the magazines, or the newspapers, or by posters. I wasn't surprised to learn that some cosmetic firms spend more than £100,000 a year on advertising. Film stars probably have a bigger influence than anyone else on the fashions and hairstyles of the younger generation. To see how this influence worked, I went to a film studio. They were busy on a new picture starring Janette Scott. She seemed a good choice for our report because for the first time in her career she was playing a grown-up part. My guess is that many thousand British teenagers are waiting to see this film, now and forever, for one particular reason. What will Janette Scott look like this time? Before filming started, the producer-director, Mario Zampi, held a conference with his makeup artist, Stuart Freeborn, publicity advisor Jean Metcalfe, and hairstylist A.G. Scott to discuss how she would look in the film.
She's a schoolgirl who grows up when she falls in love, so I want you to emphasize that.
In which case, I think we can bring a long plait from the crown, which will look very nice.
Yes, but remember that I want a fringe.
She has a very beautiful forehead, and I think we can use the forehead with a fringe wave.
Oh, yes, but when she knows she grows up, her hair, I want her hair absolutely all up with a lovely Roman bun on the back.
Yes, providing the knot is high on the head, I think photographically the effect will be very good.
Scotty, I notice that neither you nor Mario have suggested that Jan should keep the ponytail. Now, the public do know her by this, and I feel that it might be quite a good idea.
Yes, Jean, I think she has worn it so long, and I think that phase is past of the ponytail, and we can do something very much nicer.
Well, now, this idea that you have suggested, is it easy to copy?
Oh, yes, providing they have sufficient length of hair.
All right, Scotty. Now, what about makeup?
She has naturally beautiful eyes. I would make as much of these as I can by a little eyeshadow and perhaps a little penciling. And then her lips, well, at first, of course, she has to appear as though she's not using any lips whatsoever, so I would use a neutralizing color. Later, of course, we would use a pink color. This is a very good color for teenagers.
You're absolutely right, Stuart. But remember, not heavy makeup.
Well, I don't think a heavy makeup would be necessary. I use a light base, and that will help to emphasize the points I've just made.
I'm glad you said that, Stuart, because people are very quick to criticize if a 17-year-old wears too heavy a makeup.
Now, let us make, some makeup test, and then, we shall decide. Thank you.
Okay.
From theory to practice. And here in the brilliant glare of the lights, the revolution began. A revolution without violence that owes nothing to politics. A revolution in which the only casualties will be last year's dress and the shape of a few million locks of hair. The revolution caused when thousands of young girls see a 17-year-old actress in her first grown-up film. I spoke at the end of her day's work to the leader of the revolution, and I didn't find her so very frightening. Now, what I'd like to know is, what sort of reaction do you have them in your off-duty time from the public?
You mean like sort of being recognized in the streets and
yes.
things? Oh, well, various things happen. I'm, well, quite often recognized. I remember once there was a very funny thing happened. I was riding on top of the bus going home from the theatre after a matinee, and there was a very heated argument going on behind me. One person was saying, "Yes, it is," and the other was saying, "No, it isn't." And I gathered they were meaning, was I or was I not Janette Scott? And suddenly the other one said, "She'd never travel on a bus, be a Rolls Royce or something." And I really felt, I did want so much to turn round and say, well, it is me.
So you're never really off-duty?
Well, no. Even if I go up to the top of the little mews that we live, to the shops and buy some potatoes for Mummy or something, I still have to sort of put a comb through my hair, because I might be recognized,
This hair of yours, that's a new hairstyle, isn't it, you've got?
Yes, this one is.
Do the public notice things like that and let you know about it?
Yes, they do, and they're very sweet about it. I get lots of letters. My hair's very long, it's 33 inches. So quite a few of the letters are saying, don't ever have your hair cut off, we like it long. There are others that don't like it too, I had my hair cut in a fringe not long ago. And, some people liked it and some people didn't like it. Now I've brushed it back a bit. There was one very sweet letter I got once from a mother, and she said she was going to let her daughter's hair grow long into two plaits like mine. So, things like that are absolutely lovely.
They must mean a lot. These letters of yours, are they fan mail there?
Yes, they are. I looked through them all myself.
Could we see one, do you think?
Certainly.
I would like to borrow one if I might. Then I might perhaps
Yes.
meet one of your fans. Could I do that?
Oh, yes.
Thank you very much. Where's that one? Will that be right?
Mm-hmm.
That letter took me to a neat little house in Canning Town near London Docks, and it introduced me to the daughter of the house, Joyce Horton.
Well, my friends and I, we try to copy film stars in many ways, in their hair and their clothes, and even the way they walk and talk, many people copy them.
Well, what is it you like specially about Jan? Because she is your idol, isn't she?
Yes, well, I like the way Janet has her hair,
Mhm.
and I like the way Janet dresses.
And your makeup is even like her. It's very light, just lipstick.
Yes.
You
no,
like that
no
too?
makeup at all, hardly.
What about clothes? That must be a bit difficult, isn't it?
Well, yes, I've been trying to get a blouse like this one Janet wears in the picture here, but I haven't been very successful because they're hard to copy film stars' clothes.
About this hair, Joyce, yours isn't in fact like Jan's hairstyle, is it?
Well, I'd like to have my hairs like Janet's, but it isn't long enough, so I copied Elizabeth Taylor's haircut.
Well, it suits you very well. Your friends do that too, do they?
Well, yes, a friend of mine, his girlfriend came over from Germany, and she had a Marlon Brando haircut, so they copied the men's haircuts as well.
Do the boys do this sort of thing too?
Well, yes, the boys copy Tony Curtis' haircut and, you know, other haircuts, and they even copy the way they walk, the way Robert Mitchum walks along, and the way they talk as well.
Film stars? Yes, they do cause quite a lot of headaches, but quite a lot of pleasure too, particularly with the changing of the different sequences of the films, the current running films. The young ladies come in here and they see quite a lot of different stars, and they decide that they want their hair done in the different fashions, and the change goes on all the time, but it gives us a chance to explain things and teach them things, particularly sometimes difficult things such as Jean Simmons' styles, when the young ladies have got very long and lank hair and they decide that they want to look like her and they want just a Jean Simmons haircut. It doesn't matter whether it hasn't a curl, it's just got to be cut rather like that. And so long as it is, they're just quite happy about it.